Whoa, I screwed it up. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this Tuesday's MBE Movie News. It's a very different movie news today because there is no news. So I've decided to do my very own top 10 most anticipated movies of the current year, 2021. Thank God 2020 is gone. It is in the history books. Finished, thank God. Hopefully 2021 will be a better year, and it's certainly going to be a better year when it comes to movie releases. And I'm just going to get right into it. First movie coming up, there you are, it's The Little Things. Didn't know this movie even existed until a couple of weeks back, and when I seen that first trailer, I was immediately mesmerised by what I was seeing. I'm slightly concerned that I look so way off in terms of the actual shot there. It looks miles out of alignment, but I think it's just my monitor in front of me that's throwing me off. But look, I digress. The Little Things, seen the first trailer, was blown away by it. I was blown away by the cast. You have Denzel Washington in there. You have Jared Leto, Rami Malek, three Academy Award winning actors for Best Actor. So very esteemed company we have in this movie. You combine that with the director in charge of this, and I'll quickly bring it up. I've got IMDb here. It's John Lee Hancock. And this guy's worked with the likes of Tom Hanks in the past. He is a fantastic director. The actual premise of this movie says there, it's very short and sweet. Two cops track down a serial killer. It looks like Jared is playing the serial killer. It looks dark. I'm having a mare here. It looks dark. It looks broody. It's going to be fantastic. It's coming out at the end of this month. Lord knows when I'll get to see it. It is hitting HBO Max concurrently with the theatre release over in the States, so I may just be able to get my hands on this digitally very soon indeed. But look, that's it. Short and sweet. I'm going to rattle through these as quickly as I can. I'll try not overstay my welcome. This may be a 10-minute video. It may not be. There's some honourable mentions in there as well. But look, the very next movie that I'm very excited about, it's high up in my anticipation list, is Elvis. I was reluctant to just put Elvis in the graphic there, because I thought it was just an untitled Elvis project, Elvis biopic, but they are calling it Elvis everywhere. And look, that'd be a very neat, very short, succinct title. It fit perfectly for this movie. It's all about Elvis. It's a biopic. It's coming in from Baz Luhrmann, a man who's no stranger to biopics, no stranger to musicals, I should say. And of course, that last decade, it really was, and it is a new decade. Well, it was a new decade last year as well, so we're still in this decade. But the last decade has really been a renaissance of musicals, historical biopic sort of musicals. We've had the likes of Rocketman, we've had what was the other one? Bohemian Rhapsody. There's been so many. But even musicals in general, La La Land and The Great Showman, and nice little musicals have been popping back up into everyone's sort of awareness, and they've been doing very well at the box office. And of course, this guy, I'm sure, done Moulin Rouge. I may be wrong, it may be someone else, but he's a great director. And you mix the cast with that great director again. Tom Hanks, Luke Bracey, Austin Butler. Of course, he played the guy who was calling himself the devil in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He was Charles Manson's goon, his right-hand man, his lieutenant. If you'd like, you've got Dacre Montgomery in there as well. I think he was of Power Rangers fame. And you have someone else who I was just reading, Kelvin Harris Jr. I was just reading an article about it. He is going to be in there as well. I think he's playing who is he playing? BB King. He looks a little bit skinny to be playing BB, but I think BB may have been skinnier back in his heyday, his prime, if you like. Colonel Tom Parker getting played by Tom Hanks. What a choice that is, and what an interesting figure this guy was. A bit of a shithead, by all accounts. He kind of held Elvis back. He was a sort of controversial figure in the man's life. And look, Elvis in general is just a colourful, bigger than life personality. One of the all-time great rock stars. He was the king of rock and roll, and he had very distinctive periods in his life. He had the rock and roll 50s era Elvis, he had the Return of the King era in the late 60s, 68 comeback special, and then at the end he was doing his sort of act in Las Vegas. So it's going to be interesting to see how Austin Butler can bring this guy to the big screen, how he can make him larger than life once again. He's been dead a long time, he looks like him, the director's right, the cast is right, and it's, I think, finishing shooting as well. It's currently, I think, still happening over in New Zealand. We've got a comment here. Hi bro, how you doing? Just rattling through these anticipated movies of 2021. I'm doing it very quickly. There you go. Movie number 8 is KGF Chapter 2. The trailer's Going to be dropping in a few days' time. I think 3 days to be more precise. Friday, very late Friday for us, early hours of Saturday morning. I'm very excited about this movie, man. This is a movie that I just watched recently, chapter 1 that is. I wasn't aware of it. We reacted to it. I was very intrigued by it. And I have to tell you, man, the likes of Yash in there as Rocky, stupendous. If you haven't seen it and you're from the western side of the world, then I highly urge you to go in and watch chapter 1. Packed with action, packed with amazing dance numbers, an interesting story, nice narration. Yash is an absolute superstar. And Sanjay Dutt, of course, he was having some health issues, and that's why the movie actually get delayed into 2021. He's in there as well. I've got another comment. Oh, Indians are waiting for KGF Chapter 2. Listen, I'm not even Indian, and I'm waiting for KGF Chapter 2. We actually got an email from the production company kindly letting us know when the teaser was dropping last week, so that was kind of them. We will definitely react to that. I'm very excited about this movie. There's a couple of Indian movies in the honourable mentions list as well. I just couldn't fit them in, but I'm excited for some of these Indian movies coming out, man. I've tipped my toes in the water, and I've been very happy with what I've seen. Some amazing production values, some amazing storytelling, some absolute superstars in the likes of Prabhas, Yash, Ajay Devgan, Ranveer Singh, Shahid Kapoor. The list is endless, man. Some amazing actors over there, and I'm looking forward to this movie, how it's going to build on that first chapter where of course he rose from, was it Bombay? Was it? Maybe you can correct me below. It has been a number of months, but he rose from the ashes, like a phoenix rising. This little boy became an absolute tour de force, battering 4 or 5 guys out of the way. He's almost like a superhero, this guy. Phantom is one of the most awaited South Indian Kannada language movies. It's doing in a huge scale. I have to look at that. Thank you very much for letting me know about that. My dog's knocking the mic out the way here. I'll have a look at that. We actually had another production company ask us to react to one of their movies. I don't know which one it was, but I'll have a look out for that. I'm very intrigued, and we just spoke about it yesterday. South Indian movies leading the way over in India. Really the saviour of the theatres over there. The Bollywood movies have kind of dried up, and they're looking to the south for their saviour. But I'm going to move on. I hope I've got this right. It's Eternals, number 7. I didn't want to oversaturate this anticipated list with MCU movies, because to be quite frank, there's lots of different cool movies out there doing their thing. Eternals is in there. There's one other one in there. And the reason that Eternals is in there is purely because it's the next big ensemble release, and it's highly important to the next phase of Marvel storytelling, because these characters are going to be the connective thread for the Fantastic Four. Look how slow that logo's animating. Jesus Christ, that's terrible. Have to get that sorted. Should be slicker than that. It's slicker before I put it into OBS. It's just not right. But they're going to be the connective thread for the start of Fantastic Four, the start of perhaps the Silver Surfer. Galactus may be coming into this universe. Could be the X-Men are bred as a side thing in this story as well. So this is going to be a story that's taking place over thousands of years. It's got a stacked cast, an utterly stacked cast, and Chloe Zhao's in there. She was speaking about how Marvel gave her lots of freedom. She's excited about the process. She's excited about the story. Look at that cast. Off the charts good. Richard Madden, great Scottish actor I should say. Angelina Jolie, Gemma Chan's in there. You've got Salma Hayek, Kit Harington, Camille Nanjiani, absolutely shredded. Went from a couch potato to absolutely ripped. And I love that guy. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's bringing to that role of Kingo. We've got Barry Keoghan in there. We've got Lauren Ridloff. The list is endless. Brian Tyree Henley. It's just going to be such an interesting story. They have to get this right. If they don't get this right, Phase 4 is off to a very sugary sort of start. Sugary peg start. So looking forward to this. Looking forward to the next big ensemble release in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Of course, we do have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings coming out before that, and Black Widow. But this one's more important than that. We've got another comment. Bro, here in India, 5:20 AM just now. Jesus Christ. I stay up to 4 AM most days. And I don't get out of my bed till 11ish because I start my work very late in the day. So I feel your pain. I hope you're not an insomniac. I hope you've had your sleep. You're maybe just having a little look on the phone or something. Then you're going to drift back to sleep. Or maybe you're an early riser. The complete opposite to me. But look, it's currently 10 to 12 at night over here. So it's late. It's very late. But I'm a lazy shit. So I like to leave things very, very late indeed. But yeah, look. Excited for Eternals. Excited for where the MCU is moving on into the future, and I'll get into the MCU in just a few moments as well as we go through this list. There's another movie in there, but the next one is Mission Impossible 7, it is the next Christopher McQuarrie trip into the Mission Impossible franchise. The next stage in the Ethan Hunt story. And of course, this movie has been quite infamous in recent weeks. We had Tom Cruise yelling his head off at cast members, and crew members I should say, not cast, for not following the strict COVID guidance behind the scenes. On the set, he was recorded screaming and bawling at them. And that got a lot of heat, a lot of publicity. I was on Tom's side. It's not a joke, I've had it. And you have to be on the ball. These productions are hundreds of millions of dollars worth. And look, I'm excited again to see what the hell he brings. You look at this cast again. He's building upon the momentum, Christopher McQuarrie, that is, of previous movies, the last two. You've got Vanessa Kirby in there, she's back. Tom Cruise, Rebecca Ferguson's back. Angela Bassett's back. Hayley Atwell's in there. You've got Ving Rhames, who's been there since the mid-90s. Simon Pegg. They're all coming back, man. I don't know what the story's about. I can't even lie. I've not got a clue. It's a Mission Impossible movie. Tom Cruise will be hanging off the side of planes again. You just know that. We've got another comment here. Most of them are now in sleep, bro. Most of them are not in live yet, exactly. Look, it's very difficult to try and sort of synchronise the times. It's really, really hard because obviously with me working, it'd be really difficult. I don't even know how we would synchronise live shows for perhaps the Indian audience. You'd maybe try and help us out. How far ahead are you in terms of hours? It could maybe be that we could do something for 7 o'clock or something, and that may be very late still though. Great show, thank you very much. Appreciate that comment. It's not often we get comments like that, so it's usually negative comments we get. Triple R, telling you that is in my honourable mentions. That movie blew me away. I loved the trailer, the two trailers. Very interesting way of promoting the movie as well, with these two different guys, their backgrounds, each getting their own independent trailer. It looks like an epic tale. Is it SS Rajamouli, is that his name? The guy who'd done Bahubali. He is directing the movie. He's got a very distinctive visual style. You can see the slow-mo shots, you can see droplets of water. It's just beautiful. It's an epic sort of technical side he has to him. I do like his movies. KGF Chapter 2, already spoke about it. Hits number, I think I've got that in at number 7 in my most anticipated list, or number 8. It's right up there. Cannot wait to see the trailer. And looking forward to seeing what Yash, aka Rocky, brings in this second movie. It's going to be violent, it's going to be brilliant, there's going to be amazing musical numbers and dance numbers in there. Cannot wait for it, man. And I also cannot wait for Mission Impossible 7, but I'm moving on, because I'm done with Mission Impossible 7. Moving on to number 5, it's A Quiet Place, Chapter 2, and it's the latest from John Krasinski, Emily Blunt, in this post-apocalyptic world with these aliens who have super sensitive hearing, but blind as bats. Such an interesting story, such an interesting movie, that one from, I think, 2016. Really shook up the horror genre, what you can do with horror movies. It became a sort of genre which was full of cheap parlour tricks and just jump scares and sounds, and it became really lazy and oversaturated with garbage slashers and just the same old movie being made and made again, regurgitation. John Krasinski came along, he gave us a very interesting movie in this genre, something different, and introduced an actual deaf actress in there and a deaf character, which just raised the stakes again. And I loved this movie. I loved going to see it in the theatres. It was an interesting experience. You couldn't even chew on the popcorn, it was that quiet. And I'm so excited to see where they go with this next one. We've got Cillian Murphy is going to be in there, and I love Cillian. I've been watching this guy since all the way back in the likes of Inception and Peaky Blinders, all the way back, man. This guy's an amazing actor, almost underrated. And what he's going to bring is a sort of primary male figure. It's going to be very interesting. We've got more comments here. We've got one, is this from Twitch? I'm trying to read it. The most anticipated movie of 2021 is a movie with a story where characters and most action, I can't even see it, characters meet and action, I can't read it, I'm blind as a bat, I do apologise. It's a good beginning, middle and end, and the characters become friends and live happily ever after the end. Yes, that'd be a good movie. Yeah, I want to see that from A Quiet Place too. I want to see them live happily ever after. The last time we seen the Evelyn Abbott character, she was in the basement, and these aliens were coming after her and her kids. So I hope she gets out. She meets Cillian, aka Emmett, and it's happily ever after. And you want to see that movie And you know you, I do want to see that movie, absolutely do. But we have to have something juicy around about it. Kelly Murphy was great in 28 Days, 28 Days Later, was it? Or weeks later? 28 Days Later. That was an amazing movie, man. That was a groundbreaking horror zombie movie, that. And I think some of the sequels scenes were actually shot in my hometown of Glasgow, so he wasn't in it. I don't think he was anyway. But look, man, this is going to be very interesting. How do you top a movie like that? How do you make the stakes higher but keep it grounded in that, and keep that sort of tone of the original movie? It's going to be interesting to see how John does it. I don't think he directed many movies prior to A Quiet Place, so he's 1 for 1 at the moment. Hopefully he goes 2 for 2. We know we're getting an expanded universe within this Quiet Place franchise, so probably a lot riding on this as well. But look, moving on. I'm losing the plot here with the actual graphics. I've had to get down into a second level of macros, and it's not good. It's the Suicide Squad. It's James Gunn. He's jumped the dike from Marvel to DC. He's jumped from Disney to Warner Brothers for one movie after the whole tweet scandal erupted. The man's going to be directing the follow-up to David Ayer, is it? It's Suicide Squad, which was a disaster of a movie. There was some good points in it, most notably Margot Robbie, Will Smith. Apart from that, a steaming pile of shit of a movie, really. And this is what we're getting now. We're getting a reboot, a soft reboot. James Gunn's in there. James Gunn's in there. That was like Stephen King there. It was my first picture as a director. I slurred my words. It's getting late. James Gunn's in there. He's got a very unique style. He likes to balance music with comedic elements, but also there's good heart to his movies. If you've ever watched, and you should have watched Guardians of the Galaxy, if you haven't, there's something wrong with you. But if you've watched it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Music's amazing. He balances it so well within the scenes. He gets good performances out of his actors, and the story's almost tinged in tragedy, and that's something that matches well with the Suicide Squad, because it's a tragic bunch of guys and gals. They are stuck together, these people, mavericks, heroines, anti-heroines if you'd like, forced to do this mission or they get their heads blown up, so that's tragic. And the characters are just all misfits, and you look at the cast and you look at the colourful characters we've got in here. I can't really get images up, so it's a shame I can't do it credit, but we've got Weasel in there, and that's James Gunn's brother. I don't know what he's trying to say there. Maybe his brother's a weasel. We've got Polka Dot Man, played by our very own Peter Capaldi. My very own, I should say. I'm Glaswegian and Scottish, so is he. David Malkin's in there. He's playing Polka Dot Man. Peter Capaldi's playing Thinker. Such a good cast. Jai Courtney, Idris Elba, Joel Kinnaman's back. Sylvester Stallone's in it. I didn't know he was in this movie. You learn out something new every day. Taika. Didn't know Taika Waititi was in there either. So it's got such a good cast. It's such a colourful bunch of characters, and I just can't wait to see this guy putting his own indelible style onto this movie and seeing what we get from it. It has to be better than the original Suicide Squad. It just has to be. And so looking forward to seeing what he brings. He's really brought a sort of camaraderie together. He's made a fraternity out of the DC Marvel stuff, and hopefully long may that continue. But got another one here, comments in here. After the Harley Quinn movie, I don't care about the Suicide Squad anymore. I see, I was like that, but this is different. This will be different. This is a different story. Different characters, and more importantly, a different director who actually knows what he's doing. So I've got excitement for this movie. That's why it's at number 4 on my list. And we've got another comment, Master Tamil. Yep, that's in my honourable mentions as well. Telepathy, I think that's his name anyway. Watched the trailer, blown away by it, and an interesting story as well. This guy gets forced to work, and I think it's at a juvenile school, and there's people abusing the kids, gangsters. This guy's not going to stand for it. It's a very interesting story, and by all accounts, this guy, an absolute superstar over in India, so much so he's got his own nickname, Telepathy. So yeah, looking for. I didn't know about Chada. There was another mention up there of another movie. I don't know if that was the same one. I'm going to have a look. No, it was Phantom. Chada, I'll have a look at Chada as well. We're always looking at a remake of Forrest Gump, Hindi. Interesting, very interesting. I'll have a look at that. Thank you very much. Always looking for recommendations. And look, I keep saying it, I've really enjoyed the journey into Indian cinema. It's been amazing. There's been so many different kinds of movies, and one sort of continuous theme, in that they've been really well crafted and really intriguing watches. Even the TV shows. Scam 1992, a Harshad Mehta story, such an interesting watch. Magnetic. Hour-long episodes flew by. Beautiful writing, interesting character. Interesting is my word of the day, clearly. So I've been really intrigued by what Indian cinema and TV he's been bringing to the table, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. But yeah, I'm going to move on. Don't know what that noise was there. To the third movie in my, number 3 in my most anticipated movies of 2021. It's No Time to Die. It's James Bond. I've just said Bond. Don't know why, but I have. Well, this movie should have been out by now. It should have been out at least twice by now. It's the Kari Yoji Fukunaga movie. It's the last of the Daniel Craig era James Bond movies. It's got Rami Malek in it again. This guy's a stupendous actor. Really, really good as Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody, but he'd done it prior to that. This guy is just... I watched this guy in the Pacific. Just momentously talented, and by all accounts he's playing Dr. No in this movie. It's not been revealed that he's playing Dr. No, as you can see there. They're saying he's Safin. This guy's Dr. No. This is a remake of Dr. No. Whether it's going to be as good as the original Dr. No is another thing. If it even was called Dr. No, I'm not a huge Bond fan. I have to admit, I watched the Connery ones. I don't know their titles and stuff like that, but I'm so excited for this because I've seen the trailer in the theatres. I've seen the scale of it, the grandiose nature of the story, the grandiose nature of the visuals, of the music. This guy's going to go out with a bang. He's had a mixed bag of movies, mostly good for me, and he'll want to go out with a bang, and we're going to usher in a new era. Craig's been a great Bond. He got criticised early on for being too short. He was just criticised. It was stupid criticism. But he's been a good Bond, I think. He's definitely been better than Pierce Brosnan, that's for sure. And again, they're kind of doing the Christopher McQuarrie Mission Impossible thing with this franchise. They've revitalised it, they've brought it into the 21st century. And it needed it, because it was a stuffy, stereotypical movie that treated women badly. This movie, and the last couple of movies, not so much. Anna de Armas is in there. She's great. She was in Knives Out. Standout performer in a movie with Michael Shannon and Chris Evans and Toni Collette, and unbelievable cast. Fairly young actor, up and coming. I think she's 30, a little bit younger than me, round about the same age as me, not too young, but up and coming. And she's really good. Ralph Fiennes is back, Ben Whishaw's back, all of the gang are back. Going to be interesting. Yada yada yada. Not going to overstay my welcome. Really excited for this movie and where they're going to take the character of Bond beyond it, but that's another day. Die another day. But wait, I digress. Terrible man. Move on to the penultimate movie in my top 10 most anticipated list. It's number 2. It's Spider-Man 3. Why am I excited about this movie? Well, why am I not excited about this movie? This movie is going to be balls to the wall crazy. It's going to be the Civil War of the Spider-Man mini franchise in the MCU. It's going to be multiverse madness, not Doctor Strange multiverse of madness. I don't know why I'm bringing this up, really. There's very little information, just perhaps to look at the cast and who's coming back. That doesn't do it justice. You've got Benedict Cumberbatch in there, Dr. Stephen Strange, Alfred Molina's coming back. We know that J.K. Sims is coming back as J. Jonah Jameson. Looks like we're getting Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire back. I think we're getting, perhaps, is it Elizabeth? Not Emma, not Elizabeth. Emma Stone, is that her name? I'm blanking on her name. She's coming back. We know we're getting William Dafoe. It's going to be mad. It's going to be absolutely crazy, this movie. And it's going to be a fantastic movie as well. Look, the last few Spider-Man movies have been really, 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 really good. And I include Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse into that. They've took it on a new direction for the character. He's not been this established figure. We've not got the traditional origin story either. It's been something in between. He's been kind of into his tutelage as a superhero, but he's got the training wheels on. And he's young and he's immature. And he's going on a journey. I want to see this character coming out shell in this movie. He can't be getting helped by other characters. He's a godlike superhero. He's up there with the likes of Thor. He's got God-given abilities. Well, he's got Spider-given abilities, but it's godlike. And they have to mature this character in this movie. This has to be his breakout moment as a mature superhero. Tom Holland's young, he's stupendous, he's athletic, he's charismatic, he's a great actor, he's a great Peter Parker. He's still not my best Spider-Man, that's still Tobey Maguire. This guy has the opportunity here to supplant Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man in a movie that's going to be full with characters. He has to be the standout, and that's why the balance in this has to be right. And I'm absolutely convinced that it's Sam Raimi. No, it's not Sam Raimi's doing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It's John Walsh that's doing this movie. I'm sure he'll get it right. I'm sure Kevin Feige will get it right. They'll get the balance right. It'll be absolutely crazy and it'll be sensational, and it'll be the middle arc of this Multiverse of Madness story, starting with WandaVision, ending with Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. Supremely excited for this movie. Hope it comes out. It's just started production. This comes out this year. I think this will be the best MCU movie of the year, and that's including Black Widow and Eternals and Shang-Chi in it. This will be the best. If they can nail this, it'll be sublime. It'll be Civil War on steroids. But look, moving on to the final movie in my top 10 2021 most anticipated movies. It's Dune. It was one of my most anticipated movies from last year. Denis Villeneuve. You mix him with Timothée Chalamet, Oscar Isaac, Jason Momoa, Josh Brolin, in a world like this from Frank Herbert, which is almost like The Lord of the Rings meets Star Wars. It's got mythology, it's got interesting worlds, characters, politics. It's like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, all lumped into one. This, if it comes off, just like Spider-Man, and I've got supreme confidence that Denis will pull it off. He pulled it off with Blade Runner. Even though it wasn't a critical success, or not a box office success, it was a critical success, of course. Even though it didn't really pay off in terms of box office performance, he definitely got that story right, and he will get this right as well. He's poured heart, soul, blood and tears, everything you want to call, into this movie. I don't know why that's come up. And of course, I'm actually going to look in and look at the cast very briefly here. Not the cast, the actual crew. I want to see who's involved in cinematography in this movie. I've not actually checked this. Eric Roth as well is doing the screenplay. Let's have a wee look here and see. We've got Hans Zimmer is doing music. It's always a boon. He's one of the all-time great composers, so much so they use this guy's sort of music as a temp track in action movies. All action movies, they have a temp score. They put this guy's score in it. That's how established he is in the action franchise. Greg Fraser's doing the director of photography. I'm going to have a little look at Greg's backstory here and just see what he's done. There you go, he's done Rogue One, he's done Zero Dark 30, he's done Vice. He's an established cinematographer. This has all the components to be a monster hit, to be a budding franchise, and I'm sure they'll get it right, and that's why it's number one in my top 10 most anticipated movies of the year. It's going to be sublime. I was about to swear there. It's going to be, I was about to say it's going to be effing sublime, and I just cannot wait to see this movie, man. But look, I'll go into my honourable mentions. I don't have graphics for them, but honourable mentions are, as I did say previously, Triple R, RRR, bring it up. Very interesting story. Fictitious story from SS Rajamouli. It's about two legendary soldiers from different walks of life coming together and fighting for their country in the 1920s. It's superb looking in terms of visuals and technical elements. Director SS Rajamouli just knows how to make epic action movies. You've seen it with Bahubali, the conclusion, the beginning. Prabhas was just unbelievable in that movie. I just want to keep saying sublime. But in terms of visuals, in terms of the epic scale, in terms of just nailing this action, that gives me extreme confidence that Triple R, whatever it's called, I don't know the actual acronym, what it's standing for, but I've got supreme confidence this movie will be one of the best of 2021. And on that note, I'm going to move on to the next honourable mention. Before I round this up, I'll batter through this. The Beatles Get Back, Peter Jackson. This guy knows how to do documentaries. He knows how to restore archive footage. We've seen it with They Shall Not Grow, the great World War I documentary. It's the Beatles. I love the Beatles, my all-time favourite band, and a really turbulent and tricky part of their history. He's trying to put a positive, happy-go-lucky sheen on this story, on this movie. But just really looking forward to this because, first and foremost, the music's going to be remastered. We're going to get to see the final performance on the rooftop and just have a look as I fly in the wall into what was going on during that infamous recording session. Cannot wait to see it. Next one, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. What can you say about this? This guy's got connections with MI6, I think it is, or 5. He's got sort of double agent secret service links. He's a man out of time. He's coming from China, I believe, to the United States. He'll be like the Steve Rogers, humanistic version of Steve Rogers. You then mix in all of the other shit that's going on in this. It's going to be very, very interesting. And Simu Liu, he's just an incredibly charismatic guy. He stepped onto that stage at Comic-Con. Right away, I knew this guy was perfect for the role. We've got a comment here. Kabza has that. Also one of the most waiting upcoming South Indian Kannada language movie. The story is held in 1947 after the Indian independence. How the gangsters created themselves. That sounds brilliant. I love a gangster movie. Absolutely love The Godfather. The likes of Scarface and what else? What other great Goodfellas. There's so many great Godfather sort of gangster movies, and that sounds very, very interesting as well. I'll keep an eye out for that. I'm going to write these down. I'll have a look and see if there's been trailers dropped, and we'll maybe have a look into reacting to them and building anticipation. I just wish I'd known about them before. They may have made my honourable mentions, but they haven't, and that's to my supreme shame. But look, I digress. Second last, or third last honourable mention, I'm not going to stick around in this one. Army of the Dead, it's Zack Snyder. Dawn of the Dead, this guy was involved in it. I'm sure he directed it. I'd have to go back and double check. It's almost like a sequel to it. A heist, a zombie apocalypse, Zack Snyder, his unique style of action. Look at the cast. Dave Bautista's in there. What more do you want in life, really? Looking forward to it. It's coming to Netflix. Again, just shows you how good Netflix are at the moment, that they're attracting that calibre of filmmaker. And I know he's Marmite. Some people don't like him. Some people are completely ambivalent towards him. I personally don't mind Zack. I think he's decent and he knows what he's doing in this genre. And if you watched Dawn of the Dead, you'll know he knows what he's doing in the zombie genre. Speaking about pioneering zombie movies, that was one of the great zombie movies. Although I tell you what, since watching Train to Busan, a lot of these zombie movies have got a lot of catching up to do to get anywhere near that calibre of filmmaking. As you can see, one of my honourable mentions is Master Its Telepathy. It's a Lokesh Kanagarash. I can't say the name. I'm half blind. It's very difficult. There you go. VJ Sethupathi, what a guy. By all accounts, broke the tweet record for a movie. Broke the record for views as well, I think, for a teaser trailer. Practically broke YouTube. We reacted to it and it got ridiculous views. I think it got 20,000 views, the trailer reaction. And for a channel of their size, that's quite impressive. Movie looks great. As I said, it's an interesting story. This guy is an alcoholic professor. As you can see, I'm reading the plot synopsis. He's sent to a juvenile school. He clashes with a gangster. It looks so good. This guy, again, like an array of figures from the subcontinent, just charismatic as hell, an absolute superstar. And I'm not going to go through all the names again, but I am Sharat Khan, Amir Khan, this guy, Prabhas, Yash, Shahid Kapoor, Ranveer Singh, Haji Devgan, some amazing names. So charismatic, absolutely shredded, most of them as well, jacked to hell. So I'm looking forward to that one tremendously. And the last one is Top Gun Maverick. I didn't include this in my top 10 because, to be quite frank with you, not the biggest Top Gun fan. I've seen it once, the original, and I was a little bit befuddled by the whole volleyball, beach ball, whatever it was on the beach thing, topless. It was very 80s. The soundtrack was okay. It's Tom Cruise. It was okay. It's not my favourite movie by any means, and that could be blasphemy to some people. But this one does look good, man. You can't lie. You can't deny it. It deserves an honourable mention. Just because this guy got in a jet and filmed practically the scenes with the jet. So, the character, people love him. There's a connection there. It's action. It's Tom Cruise. It's Top Gun. It's Maverick. What more do you want? It has to be there. There's ones that didn't get listed, the likes of Kong vs Godzilla, because I don't give a shit about them, and there's other ones in there. Maybe The Matrix 4, but it could be an absolute disaster, that movie, so that can't get put in my top 10 most anticipated list. It could be really, really good, or it could be absolutely shite. And of course there's other ones, but I've not got all day to speak about 50 most anticipated movies, so I put 10 in. I've done my most anticipated sort of honourable mentions, and I'm done. I'm done speaking about it. But look, guys, I was going to round it up. It was, I don't know how long it went on for. It went on for a while. I can't even get information on how long the stream's been going. There you go, it's up there. I've been live for 35 minutes. That was about 25 minutes longer than I thought it would be. But look, what is your thoughts, man, on your top 10 most anticipated movies of this year, 2021? What do you make about it? What, you perhaps from India? Maybe give us an Indian exclusive top 10 most anticipated movies. We can rattle through it and have a little look and see which ones look intriguing to us. Maybe you're from anywhere else, Korea, somewhere. We've got a lot of people watch the channel from Korea. You can maybe give us a heads up from there, because the movies from there are really, really good. But in general, man, if you've got something you want to get off your chest in terms of top 10 movies of this year, maybe you can share it below in the comment section. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this in the future. And if you do, that's what you'll get. But wait, until then, I'm going to bid you farewell with a bye.